Hey, this is Christina Feliciano with Feliciano and Friends. I have my good friend Dr. Ashchi here. I've known him for a long time. I worked with him years ago. He's really talented. He has his own practice. He's a cardiologist, and he is an expert when it comes to not only the heart but longevity. So he's going to give us some of his expertise today, and we're going to learn a lot from him. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate the invite.
Of
That's
course.
very kind of you. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you. So tell us a little bit about your background. What made you decide to get into medicine?
Actually, I started around 5 years of age, and I've been focused since 5 years of age. My cousin, first cousin, had open heart surgery when he was 5 years old in 1968. And at that time, it was a 12-hour surgery, and a gentleman, tall Indian physician from South Africa came, and the whole family was waiting, and I'm 5 years old. The surgeon came and picked me up just after surgery, took his mask off, picked me up, and said, "What are you going to do when you grow up?"
Yeah,
And I said, "I want to be like you."
that's interesting.
And ever since then, because I saw how my parents worshiped this person,
Yes.
all the family, all the uncles and aunts, and I really focused on that all my life, is to become a cardiovascular surgeon. But in 1987, I was in medical school, in the middle of my medical school, a new specialty came called interventional cardiology. And
Okay.
that's what I pursued. I found that more exciting than,
And can you explain the difference to us,
yeah,
please?
the heart surgeons, in simple words, we call them the butchers. They're the one that crack your chest and
Yeah.
open your
Hmm.
chest. But we are the minimally invasive surgeons. We are the surgeons that we put catheters through the groin, femoral
Hmm.
artery, radial artery from the neck. We get to the heart, and with minimal invasive procedures, we can open up unplug the clogged arteries with different tools and toys like laser, balloon stents, atherectomies. We clean up the clots with, like vacuum cleaners, we call them angiojets, etc.
Okay.
And it's much more interesting than just doing the same old open heart surgery every day.
No, for sure. So, how long ago did you start your own practice, and what made you decide to go on your own? Because I know you.
Yeah, I finished training. It took me 17 and a half years after high school to get to what I'm doing right now. I'm board certified in internal medicine, cardiology, interventional cardiology, vascular medicine, endovascular medicine, nuclear, and echo. Took me
That's
17 and
it.
a half years. That's it, 7 boards. But I'm interested. I came to town at the time to Jacksonville because I wanted a smaller town rather than Miami, Tampa, and Orlando that I lived before.
Mm-hmm.
But I trained up in the Cleveland Clinic in Case Western after that. Then I went to University of Connecticut, and then I went to Columbia where I did 3 months with Gary Rubin, who invented the carotid stents. I came here for private practice. I joined a group, but it didn't work out. After 5 years, I left and I started my own practice because I want efficiency and I want my time with the patients and I want good quality care without being controlled. And I wanted to make sure that the patient, getting taken care of. And that's important for me. And patient comes first. And that's what I did. I started the private practice, but I saw also that's what gives me the satisfaction,
Yes.
being my own boss. Don't have to be ruled by people who don't know what they're talking about. And second, I don't want no one to tell me what to tell the patients and what I
Yeah.
can use and cannot use. So that's the freedom. And also, you're talking about the financial freedom also.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of benefit of being in private practice versus working for someone else, clocking in and clocking out. And I think there's incentives to work hard. And when you work hard, of course, you get incentivized, but also it gives you this personal psychological satisfaction that you're doing the right thing for the patient without someone else telling you what to do.
100%. And so I've known everyone that has had you as a physician. I've never heard any patient say anything negative about you. Why do
Okay.
patients love you so much, Dr. Ashi?
I because I give them my heart and soul. I give them
Mm-hmm.
what I believe in. I tell them what I do for myself and for my family. I take care of them personally. I give them my cell phone number. Every
Yeah.
patient can have my cell number. They know not to abuse it, but I give them my attention, my time, my best care, but also I treat them like family. It's
Yes.
not just a number. If a patient takes 45 minutes, takes 45 minutes. If it takes 10 minutes, let it be.
Yeah.
So, and that's the culture I foster at home. But also, relatively, I'm a religious person.
Yeah.
So,
Please
I
talk about that and share
also,
that.
because to me, they're human being, and I
Yes.
came in this profession to help others.
Hmm.
But treating others with dignity and respect, and that's it's celestial. It's from God, and I think helping others is very important for me, and that's part of my worship. My job is my worship.
That's really interesting. So, when you talk about what people can do for their heart, what are some recommendations for longevity that you recommend?
Well, the most important thing, it's you start as a child. It starts in utero. Disease starts in utero.
Okay.
I'm talking about cardiovascular disease.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to educate first the mother how to eat, how to behave, how to not to drink, not to do drugs, to eat
Mm-hmm.
healthy. And as for longevity, it starts in utero going forward as an adult, from cardiology for adults. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
adult cardiologist. Once I start seeing them at age 18, the most important thing is first is avoid things like tobacco. It's the worst thing you can do. Any kind
So,
of
no
tobacco.
smoking. What about vaping?
No vaping, no
What about
tobacco, no
patch?
no marijuana, no patches, because all of them have diseases and cancers. Tobacco, marijuana, and patches and vape all have diseases that are serious diseases that can end up in death, transplants, heart failure, etc. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really the most important thing is for longevity. The second thing is the most important, based on the literature,
Mm-hmm.
is that you have to exercise, exercise, exercise. And we're talking about 45 minutes, 6 days a week of cardio.
I'm glad you said that. I tell people an hour, 6 days a week. You said 45 minutes,
It's
and
45 minutes. They say 300 minutes, the American College of
mm-hmm.
Cardiology, per week, but some others say 45 minutes at least 6 days a week of cardio.
Okay.
And you have to be able to cardio, bring your heart rate up to 70% of maximum predicted for your age. Each one has
Okay.
a different. So, and there's a simple formula you can use, 220 minus age times 70%. That gives you the heart rate you need to achieve. So that's number two. First, quit smoking. Second is exercise. Third is what you eat is what you are.
Okay.
So
So, what
what
do you
you eat,
recommend? Mediterranean?
diet, exactly. Mediterranean diet
And can
is
you
the
explain that, please?
Sure, and I simplify it for my patients very simple. It's you have to eat mixed nuts. Whatever
Okay.
God created in nuts, put them in
Yes.
a bowl, mix them, and have at least a handful a day.
Mm-hmm.
Second, one big salad a day. And when I say big salad, we need a salad that I tell my patients you need at least 5 colors in there.
Okay. So, give an
So
example of what would be in the salad,
for
please.
example, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers. I put carrots. I put red onions. I put green onions. I put parsley, and I put beets. So I change, and every time I go shopping, since I go shopping to do the greens and the
Yes.
fruits, I try to change. The next week I bring broccoli, green beans, something.
Mm-hmm.
So my salad is always mixing, and the three ingredients that I put,
Yes.
it's white vinegar, and I use lots of virgin olive oil, and also I use lots of fresh lemon juice. Let me make
Okay.
a comment about olive oil. Not
Yes.
olive oil is the same.
So, what is the best olive
So the
oil?
best olive oil is the one that has polyphenols above 600 particles per milliliters.
And do you find that by looking at the label,
Yes, you
or
can look at the
okay?
labels, and you can actually, very simple way to find out. If it's not labeled, it probably doesn't have the 600. Uh,
Okay.
if
So
it's
they'll
labeled,
advertise that it's the
exactly.
selling point.
If it's there,
Okay.
it's a good selling point.
Okay.
And there is some places here that sell those, virgin olive oils with polyphenols more than 600. Rule of thumb, if you want to find out if you have pure olive oil, put a little bit in a glass, put it in the refrigerator, and go in the
Mm-hmm.
morning and look at it. If you have more than one layer, you know that your olive oil has been mixed with something else like soy, or
So, what should it not be one more
it
than
should be
layer?
one layer. It should
Oh,
be
just like gellify or
it's
gelled?
just one,
Okay, I
but if you see
understand.
there's two different colors,
Mm-hmm.
that they mixed your oil, like 20%,
Okay.
30% with soy or something
Rubbish.
else. Rubbish, exactly. So it's important. So we talked about mixed nuts. Second is a big salad. Avocado is
I love
excellent.
avocado. It's one of my
Avocado
favorite foods. I
is
could eat it
very
every single
nutritious,
day. I love it.
excellent. And the last thing is you need to have 3 different fruit servings a day. When I mean different, that means different fruits.
Okay.
And what I tell patients, it's a serving. So I tell some of the patients three differences. Oh, a big watermelon, a big
Yeah.
cantaloupe. No, no, no. It's a serving. So
Mm-hmm.
every day you should change it. And every time I go shopping, I bring more fruits
Mm-hmm.
and I mix and match and I make small servings of different fruits. So
What's your
those,
favorite fruits?
I love all fruits. Every fruit that
Is
God,
there a fruit you don't like, Dr. Ashchi?
no, there's no fruits I don't like.
Okay.
The only thing that I
You like
don't eat,
kiwis?
I love kiwis.
Okay.
I love kiwis. I love, so my diet every single morning, it starts with fruits and half an avocado every single morning,
Mm-hmm.
about half a dozen mixed nuts, and I have a shot of olive oil every single morning. Olive oil is amazing for your immune system, for your hair, for your skin, for your
Mm-hmm.
teeth, for your plaques. It's very, very important.
Do you drink coffee in the morning?
I drink one cup of coffee maybe a week or two.
That's it?
That's it. I used to drink one coffee all my life, just one cup in the morning.
So
But
you're
for
doing all this on no caffeine?
I do drink hot tea every morning.
Okay.
I drink hot tea with
And
honey.
chocolate?
No, just hot
Okay.
tea. I drink green tea with ginger, or I drink English breakfast. I mix it with mint, cardamom, and honey and rose water. So I make my own tea, and and the last thing is, if you are going to have uh, protein that's
Mm-hmm.
not from vegetables,
Yes.
the protein's first choice is seafood, and it's non-farm raised seafood,
Okay.
non-farm raised
So it's from the ocean?
from the ocean, and cold water is better than warm water. So I
Oh, that's right.
basically
You like Alaska.
Alaska, right?
Yes.
Anything that has high omega, like salmon,
Mm-hmm.
halibut, salmon, mackerel, stuff like that. But and if you are going to eat meat, try to
Mm-hmm.
eat
Filet
obviously
mignon.
filet mignon, but small pieces. And I don't eat maybe a steak every 3 months personally, because a lot of the steak and the chicken that's being sold these days have a lot of steroids in them.
I would eat it every day if I
Yeah.
could.
But it's easy. And I've been avoiding red meat and chicken. Not that I don't like it, it's
Yes.
just because of my health. I prefer to be healthy.
Okay. So you don't think red meat is good?
With moderation, everything with
Okay.
moderation.
And what about building muscle? 'Cause I'm a big fan of building
You,
muscle. I've been,
you can build muscles, but
yes.
it's just to keep your tone and to keep your strength and to keep your balance.
Mm-hmm.
Building extra muscles doesn't really add any benefit on your longevity.
Okay.
It's really cardio what adds to to your longevity.
And what do you think about sleep? How important is sleep for
Oh,
longevity?
sleep is very important.
So educate us about
Absolutely.
that, please.
Sleep, they recommend at least 6 to 8 hours a day. I wish I can get 6 to 8 sleep. It's not even when I want to sleep 8 hours, I can't. I'm just used to 4 hours to 6 hours,
Mm-hmm.
maximum 4 hours. But sleep is important. It has been associated with a lot of health. I know the sleep deprivation has been associated with a lot of health diseases, from hypertension to depression to arrhythmias.
Mm-hmm.
So anxiety, a lot of stuff is associated with sleep deprivation. There has been some incidents where some literature says even increasing myocardial infarction, heart attacks.
Okay.
So it's very important to have good sleep.
So how do you suggest people get good sleep hygiene?
Make sure, first of all, more in adults than in younger people, you don't have sleep apnea. That's
Okay.
very, very important, because that increases your sudden death, arrhythmias, atrial fibrillation, obesity, decreased metabolism, erectile dysfunction. When you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain, then
Yes.
it's not your brain only, but your whole
Your whole
body
body, the whole
gets it.
vascular
And
system.
when I tell the men that don't want to use a CPAP
Yeah.
machine, you're going to get erectile dysfunction, they run and say, "Where's the CPAP machine?" So it's
Give me
important.
that CPAP.
Give me that CPAP machine. And especially if they bring the wife, they make them.
Yeah.
The wife makes them use it. So this is important. So sleep is very
The wife's
important.
probably making them use it so they don't hear the snoring.
That's true. And it's important to bring the spouse to a lot of the medical
Yes.
interviews, because sleep hygiene is very, very important. Avoid lights, avoid noise. Meditation before you go sleep. Soft music if you want before. These are the kind of things that you want. I'm not in favor of medication to put you to sleep,
Okay.
but if you are one of those that
Mm-hmm.
needs every once in a while to break the
Yes.
cycle, to take Lunesta, is probably one of the most benign drugs.
What about melatonin or kava
Well,
kava or ashwagandha?
remember, melatonin can work in certain patients, but some of the literature now recently
Yeah, it
with
has some
all these
negative.
supplements are
Hmm.
having some liver disease. So
Oh,
you have to be very careful with what's coming. You don't know what it's made,
okay.
which kitchen in
Right.
different countries.
That's true. So let's talk about, I know you said that it was like in utero, you start in childhood, but let's talk about the people that maybe are my age. I'm 42, and they're coming, or 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're not healthy, and they want to, they're overweight, they're maybe not having a good lifestyle, and they want to change. What's the first thing that you recommend to try to get your heart healthy, get your body healthy? Where do you recommend to start if you maybe not had a good track record and now you're early to middle age? What would you recommend?
In medicine, we profile patients. So
Okay.
depending on the patient, a 42-year-old patient who had diabetes for 20 years,
Yes.
or the patient who's just obese and just wants to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we go through that scenario of making sure that they don't have comorbid conditions,
Mm-hmm.
but also other risk factors like smoking and alcohol. You
Cut it
know,
out.
now you have to cut it out. And unfortunately, a lot of people ignore the alcohol factor. The
Yes.
alcohol is decreases your longevity. What I tell patients, alcohol increases your risk of stroke 220%,
Wow.
an odds ratio
Is
of
that because of it
2.2.
increases AFib in the clot?
That's
We
one of
go?
them.
Okay.
It can cause heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember most of these epidemiological studies were on 3 glasses of alcohol or more? We're talking about beer, wine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
3 glasses or more a week
A
increases your
week,
risk
not a
a
day?
week.
Okay.
The week. So increases your risk of stroke 220%, increases breast cancer in women sixfolds,
Wow.
increases your risk of AFib, heart failure, hypertension. In the United States, the number one cause of hypertension is alcohol, especially in middle age and younger people.
Okay.
So alcohol, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer. Last week, the New
Mm-hmm.
England Journal of Medicine
More
had
than obesity? Or about?
no, it can cause it. It
Okay.
definitely causes it. But so stop smoking, stop alcohol. Those are important because the cancer,
Mm-hmm.
esophageal rectal cancer and alcohol and
Mm-hmm.
tongue and mouth.
Mm.
So now don't be surprised pretty soon they're gonna have a black label on all alcohol products just like we have on cigarettes. It's carcinogenic.
You think they're going to do that?
That's what they're talking about. So so if a 42-year-old
Mm-hmm.
comes, make sure they don't smoke, they don't drink. Then educate him about, you know, if a risk for like an event, like they've been diabetic smoker for
Mm-hmm.
20 years, I might do a treadmill stress test or something,
Okay.
an echo just to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what they tell. But again, going back, exercise, exercise, exercise. And then the second is diet, 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 weight loss, get the ideal body weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then really need to make sure you educate them. Just don't tell them, hey, go lose weight.
Yeah.
Sit down. Prevention is much more cost effective than waiting till it's too late.
No, I 100% agree with that.
Exercise is important. Now we have, thank God, all these drugs that we can help patients
Mm-hmm.
safely, at least to get them to where they need to be. But in that time, while you're using, for example, certain drugs like Ozempic or,
Mm-hmm.
Zepbound or whatever they're using, we need to get them to the ideal weight. Hopefully, in that period of time, we
Mm-hmm.
also
And
educate them
also
to eat
lifestyle
healthy.
changes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's really, really important. And they get them motivated. Some people may need to do it in groups, some people like to do it individually.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to tailor it to each person. But get enough sleep, just like we talked about.
Yes.
Smell the roses,
Yeah.
you
So,
know.
what do you think about the importance of nature and outside?
Uh,
You think it's just more psychologically important, or do you think
it's
that
very
there's also?
important.
I believe it's important too, but what do you
For
think
me,
from
it's
a?
very, very important.
Yes.
I work, 2, 3 months, and I take 2 weeks, and I like to go
Yes.
even alone to certain places
Mm-hmm.
just to travel. I like nature. I love animals. I just love sunset. My therapy every single day when I go home, I sit down on my
Mm-hmm.
back and by the swimming pool and watch sunset, and I do my work watching sunset. That's my relief.
No, but I know that I just feel a lot better when I'm in the nature and outside and with animals and being at the beach
Sure.
and being on water. I love all that. Is there studies that find that there is like besides just a psychological benefit, does it do anything to our like sympathetic nervous system or anything like that? Or is it just
we
God just, we're
we know
just,
we know any
yeah.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
relaxation what brings happiness increases your endorphins and increases decreases your depression, decreases etc.
Okay.
etc.
Because I know I was telling Izzy, who's my office manager, and she also films this. Like I was with my father on Sunday, and we just went fishing, just out here in Palm Valley. But I was like telling, like it's like for me when I'm just in nature, I feel such like peace, and it's such a
Absolutely.
like I don't know, and I it's hard for me when people don't feel that way because I'm like, why doesn't everybody just want to be in nature all the time? Because it's just such a like peaceful. I could have been there all day, every day.
I love nature.
Yes.
I love
So,
nature.
but I feel like it does something to like my soul and my body. So, okay. So, what are some things? What is advice that you would give to your younger self or to young people?
Um, if they're in the same profession as I am,
Okay.
if there's others, but depending, who
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving the advice to. If I'm
Yes.
giving advice to a young doctor like me
Mm-hmm.
in my younger days,
Or a young nurse practitioner.
a nurse
No,
practitioner,
doctors.
balanced life,
Yeah.
very balanced life.
What
It's
is that?
it's important, but we taught to win always
Mm-hmm.
as physicians, as nurse
Yes.
practitioners. We are taught to win, not to lose. And but also unfortunately in the Western society we are taught to chase the dollar. And if
Yes.
I had to go back and look back at what I did, I came to this country with nothing.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you
I
came
was
here?
15 years old.
Okay.
We lived, six of us in a two-bedroom apartment,
No.
and we worked our way out of that apartment
Mm-hmm.
after 3 years. I worked at Wendy's. I picked oranges, strawberries. I worked as a cleaning person in a bank. I worked as a waiter. Put myself through college at 17 and a half. I left home.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked very hard, but I had to eat. There was no,
Yes.
if I didn't work, I didn't eat. So, but once I made it as a physician, I realized that I'm still changing. I never realized this until my divorce,
Mm-hmm.
that the dollar is not important. I mean, I,
Well,
I
it's a
thought,
little important, Dr.
no, no, I'm
Ashchi.
just saying the dollar was, I
Yes.
never, I chased my life
Mm-hmm.
because of a family. But
Yes.
then all of a sudden, 2017, I realized I should have not done that. I should have made less money and spend more time with the family, spend
Yeah.
more time with a lot of things. I was very active
Mm-hmm.
religiously with my religion, with
Yes.
the Baha'i faith. I'm a very active person. And then I found myself away from them because I was working. But in the
Mm-hmm.
last 8 years, I have changed. I changed my whole attitude. Money is not important. What's important is a balance between the family life and between your, rest, making enough money. Because here I am at my age, I'm looking at a lot of my friends are dying of cancer and they have millions of dollars and they haven't been to Europe yet.
Yeah.
I've been to
That's
46
sad.
countries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, money is not important to me. It's important to pay the bills, but it's important also to enjoy life.
For
And
sure.
so balance between health, happiness, family, friends, and your work
So how
balance.
do you do that? Just schedule appropriately?
Yes, I work very hard when I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
I work very hard. I don't never take lunches. I work
Yes.
very hard, but when I go home, I have to have sunset. I talk to all my four kids
Yes.
every single day. I text them in the morning when I go to work if I
Mm-hmm.
don't see them. And, I try to get in touch with my close friends at night.
Mm-hmm.
I try to read the news, be balanced. I try to go swimming in my swimming pool,
Yes.
maybe stationary bicycle, maybe rowing a little bit, maybe go for a walk. So these are the kind of things that I'm doing. But now I work very hard for 2 months
Mm-hmm.
and I leave the whole country for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Just find a destination and I leave.
So two
Two
months
to three
on.
months,
Yeah.
3 months, I go 3 weeks off. I just came
Okay.
from Thailand and Dubai,
I saw that.
and it was just lovely being totally alone for three
Yes.
weeks with a guide and a driver.
Okay.
And it was amazing because you just feel you learn to appreciate other cultures, other
Mm-hmm.
religions, other people, other countries. You build the appreciation, and you just realize, my God, God created all of these people.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing during this past trip that you
In Thailand,
experienced?
the
Yes.
animals, being
Yeah.
with the wild
Were you afraid?
animals.
I saw the pictures.
Never been afraid. I was like with the cheetahs, tigers,
I
lions.
know.
I went ride
You
the
weren't worried they were
elephants.
gonna.
No, it was
It's
fun.
my time. It's my time.
The elephant was amazing. Riding the elephant for 4 hours, taking her to give her a bath in the
How did you get
river.
up on there?
She helps you. She puts give you the knee. She goes and you have to
What?
step on her knee, and then she grab you by the trunk and she puts you up there.
No, she didn't.
She did, yeah.
What?
It was amazing, you
That's
know?
incredible. There
Yeah.
was like a step ladder.
No, no, she just gives you the knee. The trainer gives her an instruction.
Oh my
She
goodness.
gives you the knee, and you just
Yeah.
stand up
The
here,
knee, and
and
then
you
she just,
grab her, and
yeah.
she'll just hold you by the trunk and you just jump on her
Oh
neck.
my gosh. Well, then how did you get down?
The same thing, you just slide.
Oh
Just
my
slide, you
goodness.
know.
Were you afraid when you were up
I
there?
was never afraid. Oh, she was so nice. She was pregnant, 7 months pregnant.
Oh, when you were riding her?
Yeah, but for them it's easy.
I
I'm
know.
just probably a fly on her back.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
They're I think
Didn't
21
you get
months.
thirsty when you were up there?
Thirsty?
Yeah, for 4 hours.
Ah, we for total 4 hours. We
Okay,
drank
you got
water, get
down a few
in.
times.
We went to the river, let her
Okay.
rest. We washed. We
Wow.
gave her a bath. We get some water, food, and came back.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
awesome.
And then were you with a lion too? Did I see that?
With the
No, it was a
lions,
lion?
tigers, and
Oh,
cheetahs. Different kind of lions, nine different tigers,
no.
small, big. Cheetah. It was
Oh.
amazing.
And you said you've been to 46 countries?
46
So you've been
countries.
to every single continent except for Antarctica?
Yes.
Do you want to go to
I have no
Antarctica?
plans because I think it's what I hear is cold, and I'm not too much a fan of a cold weather.
We like Alaska, but only in the
Yeah, but
summer?
it's in the summer. Yeah,
Okay.
in the summer.
So what is on your bucket list? What are 5 things that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
I
I
want
know
to
you've experienced a lot
I
of
want to
life.
see Russia. I want to see Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Have you not been to Russia?
No,
Have you been to Sweden?
I have been to Sweden.
Okay.
I haven't been to Russia yet, but I want to see Russia. I want to see China. And really, those are the two countries are on my bucket list. Most of the other countries, I've been slowly trending to South America. I've been, I have a place in Costa Rica, and now starting to see, I want to see Peru. I want to see
Okay.
the Galapagos Islands. I want to see that. I think that would be beautiful. But there's a lot to see in America, although I've been to 48 states, but I
Yes.
love a lot to see.
Do you like the national parks?
I love it. Yellowstone is my favorite.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have you been to Zion National Park?
Zion, yeah.
It's very
It's
pretty.
very
Yeah, I
pretty,
think it's
very
prettier than Grand
pretty. Yeah.
Canyon.
My daughter loves to go over there for hiking and
Yeah, it's beautiful over there. What
beautiful.
about Vegas?
Vegas is okay. I like Dubai.
Yeah, I like to buy.
Vegas
Vegas is for the.
is nice, but
Okay.
it's nice. But you get to see most of the shows after a while, and
Yes. Do you
uh,
like the Cirque du Soleil?
I love it. And I
What's your
like the one in
favorite Cirque du
Orlando.
Soleil?
The one in Orlando, actually, I like more than the one in.
Do you? You like
Yeah.
the Blue Man Group?
I like both.
Do you?
I
I
like.
don't like the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, I like both. I enjoy them.
And what about shows in New York? Do you like the theater or
You know,
no?
I used to go very
Mm-hmm.
frequently until COVID, really,
Yes.
until COVID hit. But I used to go like once a month, literally,
To
and
the
to go to
city?
the shows and to
Okay.
the restaurants. And I have a
Mm-hmm.
friend, friends, but one
Yeah.
specific friend. We used to go to dinners, and then we would go to those different shows.
Okay. And then what do you recommend for young people as far as education?
Do what you like, first enjoy, because your job is going to be a hobby. If your job is not a hobby for yourself, it's going to be boring, it's going to be miserable, you're not going to like it. So do what you believe. That's what I tell my kids. I
Mm-hmm.
never forced my kids. Two of them are becoming doctors, and two are business finance. I never tell them what to do. So do what makes you happy. And for example, I tell my kids, what's in your life? Is it lifestyle? Is it money? Or is it
Mm-hmm.
how happy you're going to be? So you have to find a balance between them, you know,
Okay.
and that's really important. But definitely don't go without education.
Okay.
If I have some kids that don't know what they want to do right now, but they don't want to do medicine, I'll go
Yes.
go go to some software engineering with AI technology. Go to
Okay.
AI.
That's a good
AI
idea.
is the future.
So is that a degree now? Software with
There is a
AI?
lot of people are do softwares and computer
That's a really
engineering
good suggestion. I
and
didn't think of
AI,
that. Yeah, that
because
is
that
very good.
is.
If you're not,
And
that's a very good
look
idea.
at everything that has AI stock in it. It's going up.
Yes, that's a great idea. So if you don't know what to do, that's an idea. And then what's your favorite quote?
Mm, there's a lot of quotes I like.
You can say more than
Um,
one.
I'm blanking out. on this
What's your
one.
favorite?
Um, I like, because of what I see around me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a funny quote that Einstein said,
Okay.
when they asked him
Yes.
about, can you define the universe? He says, I can't define the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But says, can you define human race? He said, I cannot define stupidity.
Oh.
You know, he says, because it's more infinite than the universe. So I really think that knowledge is power. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to teach our kids, the new generation, about knowledge. And knowledge, when I'm talking about, encompasses religious knowledge, we're talking about science, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about cultural,
Yes.
making the, because unfortunately we're seeing society growing without God,
Yeah.
and that knowledge is lacking. Where all they do is Instagram and Facebook
Yeah.
and
There's
social
like no
media.
fear of God.
No. And then when you don't have God, look at the countries that have God, and
Yes.
look at the countries that have discipline and
Mm-hmm.
education. They're rising to the top. And unfortunately, because of our education system, we're going down on the
Yes.
scale. If you look at the countries that are teaching math and sciences, and
Mm-hmm.
there's some kind of God, they're
Yes.
doing better than us, unfortunately.
No, I believe that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then just to wrap it up, is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you want to share? Any pearls of wisdom for patients, for just people?
I love the word wisdom because,
I love the word wisdom
you
too.
know, I thought I was wise before. No,
Mm-hmm.
I was only smart. Now I am wise because
Wisdom comes from God.
yeah, I was a very hot-tempered person,
Mm-hmm.
but I have changed my whole attitude in the last 7 to 10 years. It's
I know you're calmer than when I first met you.
patience, patience, patience. With God's prayers, you can actually achieve everything. Just be patient. Everything's gonna have a solution by itself.
I love that.
I really truly believe that, because a lot of things that used to be overburdening me,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I should let it sit.
Yes.
Eventually, it has a solution. It's going to solve itself.
Right. And where do
You
you
know,
see yourself in 5 years, Dr. Ashchi?
working and traveling.
Yes.
I don't like to call it working. I'm doing my hobby,
Okay, doing your
but
hobby.
I'm in about 4 years from now. My plan
Mm-hmm.
is to go to only 4 days a week from 10 to 4,
Okay.
and the fourth week I'm off.
Well, that'd be good.
So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the whole week, 10 days off.
Okay.
And then in 10 years, I'll just do whatever I want to come to work now, because I'm hoping my son will come and take over
Yeah, that'd be
with my
amazing. I'd
partners.
love that. That'd be
Yeah.
wonderful.
And if not,
He'll
I'll
do
sell
it.
it
I
to my
see that.
partners. But I really want to travel
Yeah.
the world.
Okay.
My goal is to travel the world with my friends,
Yeah.
my family, if they want to come. But I
Yeah.
want to see as many places as I can.
I love that. So.
And I want to have a farm.
Oh, that's right.
I
Yes.
want to have. I bought a farm.
Mm-hmm.
My plan is to plant every fruit tree I can grow in Florida, have an acre of
Have some
vegetables.
cows.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it myself. I'm just gonna have somebody do it.
I know that.
I'm just gonna go in the morning with a cup of tea and
Yeah, I know. And
pick
just
up
say
the eggs.
hello. I know. Pick up the eggs. So.
Pick up the eggs, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being
Stay
such a
healthy.
good friend to me. Thank you for being
Oh,
a
you're
good
welcome. No,
employer
I'm
to
so proud
me.
of you, and for
Thank
all you
you.
accomplished and all the
Thank
hard
you.
work. You
Oh,
work hard, and I see it,
yeah.
and I'm very proud of you as a
Thank
friend,
you.
as a colleague, as
Yeah.
all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Dr.
You're
Ashchi.
a wonderful
You've
person.
always been a big supporter of
Thank
me
you.
and giving me opportunities. So
And I love the fact that you have God in your heart.
always,
Yeah.
always.
Thank
That's
you.
where I'm still here. So,
Thank you.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for
All right.
watching.
Thank you.